Hello everybody, it's Linda. Welcome back and welcome if you're new to my channel. Today we're going to talk just a little bit about vertical versus horizontal discernment. It's really important in this time to be able to go within. You've heard it over and over. To be able to go within to use your discernment and to get your answers. And I think sometimes there's a lot of confusion because when your perception in a 3D reality is that you are using discernment, you absolutely very well may be doing so. The difference is the optics of the 3D reality are just like watching a movie. It's linear. It's the I know you think 3D means, like that, 3D, three-dimensional. It's not flat like a piece of paper, but it's something you can physically hold. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about a higher dimensional, multi-dimensional perspective so that your discernment can tap into your heart portal and you can perceive things from a quantum perspective. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm not going to get into a bunch of quantum teachings right now, but let's just use the term multidimensional for those of you that haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. When you go within for your answers, you develop an ability to use your discernment skills. You've probably heard this your entire life, to be a free thinker, but to use discernment. It basically is the foundation of teaching you, at least it will teach you how to be able to suspend what your conditioning and your beliefs are. And that's a beautiful thing. I talk about it all the time. Suspending your belief system, if you're researching something, to not have the same perspective you had going into it. To be able to research something and say, very interesting, without having a triggered response to it. Being able to suspend your previous belief system when you're going down a rabbit hole, when you've taken a red pill, when you've decided that you're going to learn about something, you don't go into that saying, I know what I believe and you can't teach me anything. You're just being closed-minded. You're not developing your discernment skills. Discernment skills on a horizontal level. A horizontal level is perceiving your 3D reality and saying, okay, this is what I've been told. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Let me do some research. And looking into other possibilities, other information sources that might be out there. And suspending your disbeliefs about that. And that's important because your belief systems will dictate where you go. So first you have to suspend your beliefs. And then you can do your research. And then you can go within and allow yourself to suspend emotional reactions when triggered about learning about things you disbelieve. So suspending your disbeliefs as well. Now, on a horizontal level, that is your perception in this 3D reality. That is what you see in the physical, on the news, in the newspapers, what you take in from your sight, your hearing, your the verbiage from things that you hear, the stuff that all your five senses that you taste and touch and feel, and using a baseline intuition about things, because everybody has their gut instincts. That's also, I want to say, the first part of tapping into a more quantum or a multi-dimensional aspect. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. But if you're using your 5 senses to take in information for your physical body, it's physicality, it's 3D, it's vertical. I'm sorry, it's horizontal. We're getting to vertical. It's horizontal information. When you start to realize that you're more than just a physical body, when you start to develop those skills, that everything is energy, and what are you doing? You take that time out that the whole world is in right now, but you take that time to really go within, to really look in your heart, to learn how to meditate. For those of you who have never meditated before, there's a lot of different practices out there and it can be confusing. And if your mind is one that races a lot and you haven't learned how to control your thoughts yet, to discern which are yours, what you're creating, what your thoughts are, what you're projecting, and what's coming to you and that you're receiving in this electromagnetic world that we're interacting with. If you haven't done that work yet, it's a great time to start. It's a great place to start. And you can do that simply by putting some background music on and shutting off all the distractions. Turn off the TV. Turn off YouTube. Turn off your Wi-Fi so you're not bombarded with all kinds of signals. Just find a quiet place. Light a candle. Burn some sage. Burn some incense. Whatever it takes to get you in that state. But I'm going to put a link in the description box to a beautiful high-frequency background noise that you can just play on YouTube. And I guess you'd have to have your internet on for that one. But maybe put it in a corner away from you. Get your phone away from you. Oops. Get your phone away from you. Get the distractions away. Make sure that you're in a place of coming from a calm stillness in your center. And you can do that right now. Just take a deep breath right now. Everybody, take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a second. And breathe out through your mouth. Let's do it again. I had an interruption there. I forgot to turn off my own distractions. This is great. I love you guys. Spirit's reminding me too, I need to practice what I preach. And I try. Oh boy, do I try. Okay, everybody, one more time. Take a deep breath in. Wherever you are, just be still, calm, centered. Hold it. And as you're breathing out, try to breathe out twice as long as you breathed in. And feel your shoulders relaxing. Feel your spine straightening up a little bit. Feel your stomach muscles release. And if it takes you a couple of breaths to get in a physical, calm state, take as long as you need. Play the music that you need to calm your body down, to calm and still and quiet the thoughts. Everybody can do this. I know there's objections out there about people that say they can't quiet their mind. There are techniques. Just breathe. Now, the people that watch this channel and in my community and the communities out there that already meditate, meditation is different for everybody. So there's no one particular method to do anything. It's what does it take to get you to quiet the mind, to drop down your attention into the center, into your heart portal. It's a very energetically real thing that you can physically feel. And your body, when you start dropping your attention down in here, you will start physically feeling sensations around your body. You'll get the chills. You'll get pleasant tingles. ASMR videos can help trigger some of those tingles. It's just a way of you understanding how your energy connects to the physical body. Okay? In your center, in your heart center, your very real chakra center. It's your own star portal. It really is your own stargate. When you start being able to do this at will, you can take a breath and drop everything down. You can transmute. There's so much you can do in your heart center. Your higher guidance will tell you all the things you can do, and then the spiritual gifts and things you can develop. But discernment is one of them. And when I'm talking about vertical alignment, I'm talking about instead of perceiving everything on the outside in the 3D world, I'm directing you into your heart center so you can vertically connect. And that means to the multi-dimensional multiverse that's out there. Don't worry about how big it is. Start at this point. If you are the smallest seed of how great you are, that seed at some point is going to grow. Spirit showed me the other day how the fall and the rise, and it literally is a beautiful V, and you can look at V as victory. You know, you can look at the symbols of that, for those of you that know what I'm talking about and can discern that V that was shown to us. As you descend, you get to the lowest point where you start ascending, and the whole cosmic universe is an out breath and an in breath. So in one breath, you can make a change to ascend within. That's a whole nother thing. I'm going off my topic, and I'll get back to it. So I'm going to give you 2 keys to connecting vertically. And vertically is going within and finding that inner world so that your discernment can now become connected to higher dimensional aspects of yourself, the higher dimensional worlds. If the doorway is in your heart and you decide to go in there, you will get the information that you need. You do have those potentialities to connect inside, to be able to reinforce your discernment on the 3D level. So when you see something and you know it's an optic, you know that there's something else going on. Your inner discernment will be able to tell you that. That's your vertical connection. So as you meditate, and you begin the practice of meditation for beginners, but all along the way, it gets easier because you get your claircognizance turned on. Okay, and it might not be claircognizance and knowing the whole thing when your 12-strand DNA is reconnected and you have, your full spiritual being turned on. All right, I'm not talking about, I am talking about that, but that's later. But when you can perceive through your inner connection into a 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th dimensional aspect, that part of you become friends with. You get to know. You get information that you may not have any proof in the horizontal world feeding it back to you. You may not have that proof yet. But as you go along, as you trust more, the synchronicities build up, your inner discernment becomes bigger and it expands. It's part of your expansion. It's your expansion upward, but it starts in the heart center. So I want to give you 2 keys for this as you start your practice to learn your vertical discernment so you can bring that down and it will overlight everything that you are seeing and hearing in the horizontal world, the 3D world. Okay? One of them is staying out of fear. It's huge. Your energy is a food source for other beings, and fear is what they feed on. We know this. You probably feel in your heart that it's true. How do you know without a doubt this is real? You've all had probably dreams about things in the astral, which you'll call nightmares. You have an inner knowing. You have an inner connection. These beings there's a great war going on, and it's not just in your horizontal 3D optical world. It's going on multiple levels at the same time. And your vertical discernment can overlay what you see in the optics. Did you ever hear about how, or have you had the experience where you read something maybe way back in your past? It could be a Bible, or it could be a book from a great thinker, or some other, ancient scriptures, or whatever you have studied. And as a child, when you're learning and you're reading things, you see it one way, or just like a song or a movie. Did you ever have that where back in the past you've had an understanding of something only to find out later in the future that, aha, I have another understanding, a bigger, better, oh, I get it now, epiphany, aha moment. Those are moments in time. Excuse me. Those are moments in time where anybody can look back on and say, oh, I used to have this perspective, and now I have a bigger perspective. It's expanded. It's some level of understanding that just comes to you. Okay, you can have that working all at the same time while you're watching a 3D world without actually seeing the energy. I know a lot of people want their clairvoyance turned on. There's a number of people that do have it turned on. I know a lot of people, when you're watching something, when you can hear your inner thoughts, you have those inner abilities to inner see. Excuse me. Spirit wants to say this. I'm having a hard time getting it out. No, I'm not. It's coming through loud and clear. So I'll just take a second here. Let me get a drink of water. And take a breath. Okay. Spirit wants to show you from your heart your inner standing, your inner sight, your inner hearing, your inner senses, your inner instincts. And what that comes down to is your inner wisdom. You have, every single person has an inner wisdom that your soul knows, and it resonates in your heart, and you know those inner treasures, your inner wisdom. And how you tap into that is by going within and taking the time to do the inner work. I love the phrase that knowledge is knowing what to say, but wisdom is knowing whether or not to say it. And that can transfer into when you know whether or not to say something, you are deliberately choosing. If you're choosing not to say something, you're using your inner discernment to not emotionally react and say something. So let's take, for example, you get triggered by a comment on social media and you immediately fire off on your keyboard what you know to be true, your knowledge. You know your knowledge is right. Okay, you got triggered, didn't you? That's a trick on you. You responded with an emotional reaction. Whereas if you allow the wisdom of your inner standing, you allow that wisdom to resonate through your body, you can perceive on a higher dimensional level what somebody else might be releasing, purging, or yes, maybe just projecting. But that's their free will to be able to do so. We all have the free will to express ourselves. And if we're expressing ourselves in such a way that has a loving kindness, vertical discernment, wisdom, love-filled understanding, if that's what you're projecting, other people will be drawn to that. They will feel that. They will know, because that is also contagious, just like fear and panic. So we are here seeding, I want to say the antithesis to fear, because it's love. We are here sharing that there is a better way, that there is a higher vertical understanding that's quantum. It's multidimensional. And it's for everyone. It really is. At some point, everyone's going to come down that point where they're going to start being on the climb back up. And everybody, every being has their own timing, their own timetable for that climb. So, that was one key, is staying out of fear, staying out of the false evidence that appears real, FEAR. Don't allow yourself to knee-jerk respond with an emotional trigger. And the key to that, sub-key to that, is if you feel an emotional trigger to something and you can stop right there, right at the moment that you're triggered, and you can identify that you were triggered. That's the first step. The second step is to sit with that for just a minute and take a breath. Feel it. Feel the trigger. Sit with it and ask inside, why am I being triggered? And witness the information that floods into your knowing, from your own inner wisdom. If you catch yourself at that moment and you ask, what is that? Show me, Spirit. Show me in my understanding. Show me that wisdom that you have. You'll be flooded with answers. You'll be flooded with what you need. You may not like what you get back, but that's another story. You can work through that by breathing and bringing light to it. Everything in the dark comes to the light. So, this isn't all love and light woo-woo. This is just the energetics of how this works. So, let's see. The first key was staying out of fear. And the second key is practicing your own wisdom, knowing whether to automatically do something or knowing whether you are responding with a knee-jerk reaction to something. Knowing that's the second key. So, old conditioning does absolutely create knee-jerk fear responses. And this is the time now, while the whole world is on an unprecedented timeout. Regardless of whether you think you know what's going on and what the news tells you, just stop and breathe. I know some people think they just can't do this, but I promise you, if you just give yourself a few minutes, most people right now, I know some don't, but most people right now have the time that they need to stop and look within. We've all asked ourselves, or if you haven't yet, you probably will, look in the mirror, look right in your eyes, and ask why you're here. Ask the hard questions. What is my purpose? What do I need to see to grow? You're not meant to just stay stagnant. Energy is constantly moving. We're meant to be moving. We're meant to expand and develop and grow. So be your own sun. Listen, I also wanted to share with you real quick. There's 2 videos I'm going to put in the description box that are vital for you to have an understanding of some of the energetics. And they may not resonate with everybody, but I feel it's really important to see. If you're in this community, you've probably already gotten the notification for Laura EISENHOWER's latest video. It's We Are the Advanced Technology. I'll put the link in there. She's with Dr. Jerry and has this, I want to say a podcast or a call. And it's absolutely amazing. So it's higher end teachings. It's quantum. So you may not even understand all of that yet in this 3D world. But if you stick with it and just hear it, just listen by suspending your beliefs and your disbeliefs. Just listen with your heart. Even if you don't get it, try to feel it. You'll get something out of it, I promise. There's tons of downloaded information packets that will be coming to you. So there's lots of transmissions in that one. And thank you, Laura, for doing that. Thank you, Dr. Jerry, for doing that. You probably won't watch this video, but who knows, maybe you will. Just thank you. I'm thanking your higher selves and spirit for that one. And the next one is more 3D oriented. I wasn't going to talk about anything about the war, the virus, the Fed, the America politics. I wasn't going to get into any of that. But I realize there's important timing, and people need the information as they need it. So in the GESARA plan and NESARA and GESARA and all of that, there is the law that was signed. It was signed into law by the world courts, which you guys can do all that research if you haven't already. One of the things was that the Fed would be restructured and would work with the Treasury for a year or up to a year. And that is, well, I'll just leave the video. I'll just drop that video for you guys. You can check it out. It's called It's Happening, Restructure Activated. The Fed is now in the crosshairs. And when you listen to this, you'll hear things about Q, or you'll hear things, but just know that there is there's only optics that are going on, and there's things you see. If it gets to be too much, if there's a lot of fear and panic in your world right now, in your energetic field, just turn off the TV for a little while. I know you need your daily updates to know what's going on, and that's very important. Stay safe, stay healthy. But look, guys, vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin D3, stick with the things that you know to keep your immunity up. Meditation can help your immunity. Playing pleasant music and staying out of fear. Fear creates that cortisol in your body that keeps you stressed. And if you're stressed, it wears on your immunity system. And your immunity system is, listen to Laura Eisenhower's video, and Dr. Jerry talks about the scalar capabilities of our thoughts. And we know what our thoughts do. So really check that video out. I'm strongly urging you to watch it now. It's about an hour. So if you can find the time to listen to it, very, very important stuff in there. And I will sign off now by just saying I love you guys. Thank you for thank you all for your love and support and donations. I really wanted to thank my viewers that have been sending me PayPal donations. Thank you so much. If you've sent me a donation, and there's a number of you that have, I'm going to do something special for you guys in a video, just my way of paying it forward. And I just wanted to thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart. It helps. It's helped. I was able to buy some fresh fruits and things the other day at the grocery store, and veggies and stuff, just to keep that cash moving was very important to me. But thank you for doing that. Everybody's helping people right now. It's absolutely amazing what we're seeing the birth of. The stories that we're going to be able to tell our children, our grandchildren, and their grandchildren for a long, 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 long time. There really is a birth going on here as well. So just be the person you want to be. Be how you want to be treated. Be that change. All of these things come into play right now. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.